She wakes up at 6:30 a.m., spends 7 hours in school, then goes to soccer practice for 2 hours. She eats a quick dinner with the family, and by 8 p.m., she finally sits down to start her homework. Math worksheets, spelling sentences, and a science review sheet. By 10:30 p.m., she's exhausted, frustrated, and in tears. Tomorrow, she will do it all over again. For millions of students, this is not an exception. It is their daily reality. Many of you are students yourselves. You felt that burnout. You've argued with your parents about finishing assignments late at night. Others of you may become teachers or parents someday. Even if you personally like homework, you probably know someone who struggles with it. This issue matters because education should be healthy, effective, and fair for every student. I've been a student for over a decade, and I've seen homework cause stress, exhaustion, and inequality firsthand. But I didn't rely on my own experience. I researched studies from Stanford University, the OECD, and the educational psychologists, and the evidence is clear. Today, I'm going to persuade you that traditional homework should be banned in schools because it harms students' well-being, creates unfair learning conditions, and provides diminishing returns on learning. First, I will explain how homework affects students' mental and physical health. Second, I will show you how it increases inequality among students. And finally, I will explain why excessive homework produces fewer learning benefits despite requiring more time and effort. Let us begin with the first problem, the impact of homework on students' well-being. In 2013, researchers at Stanford University's Graduate School of Education studied high-achieving high school students. They found out that students spending more than 3 hours on homework each night experience higher levels of stress, sleep deprivation, headaches, and an unhealthy imbalance between schools and personal life. Think about that. More than 3 hours every night. Some students spend 4 to 5 hours. Homework takes away time that students need for family, hobbies, exercise, and most importantly, sleep. These effects don't simply disappear after graduation. Chronic stress and burnout can leave lasting emotional and physical consequences. For this reason, traditional homework harms students' mental and physical well being. The second problem is inequality. Homework often measures resources instead of the ability. Not every student goes home to a quiet study space. Not every student has parents who can help with difficult subjects. And not every student has reliable internet access, a laptop, or even basic learning materials. According to Pew Research Center, many families still struggle with reliable internet access, making online homework much more difficult to complete. When homework is graded, schools are often grading a student's home environment instead of understanding students who work part time jobs or care for younger siblings or face financial hardship are automatically placed at a disadvantage. Rather than reducing inequality, traditional homework widens the achievement gap. The third reason traditional homework should be banned is that it provides diminishing returns on learning. Educational research shows that after a certain amount of study time, students learn less from each additional hour of homework. Instead of improving understanding, excessive homework often leads to fatigue, reduced concentration, and memorizing information without truly understanding it. In other words, more homework does not automatically mean more learning. Once students become mentally exhausted, the quality of learning begins to decline. Rather than assigning repetitive worksheets every evening, schools should focus on meaningful learning during school hours, where teachers can provide immediate guidance and feedback. So, if homework harms students' well being, increases inequality, and offers diminishing returns on learning, what should schools do instead? Here are the three ways that schools should do. Schools should replace traditional homework with effective school based learning activities. First is the guided practice during class, allows teachers to provide immediate feedback and correct misunderstandings before they became habits. Second is project based learning, encourages creativity, collaboration, and critical thinking through meaningful classroom activities rather than repetitive worksheets. Third, students who want additional challenges can complete optional enrichment activities such as reading, creative writing, or science projects. These activities should remain voluntary and should never affect grades. Now you may be wondering, does this actually work? Look at Finland. Imagine finishing your school day knowing that your learning is complete. Instead of spending hours doing worksheets at home, students have time to play sports, spend time with family, read for enjoyment, and get enough sleep despite assigning very little traditional homework. Finland consistently performs among the world's highest ranking education system. Their students demonstrate that effective learning happens through quality instruction, not endless homework. In conclusion, today I have shown you three reasons why traditional homework should be banned. First, it harms students' well being by causing stress, sleep deprivation, and burnout. Second, it creates unfair learning conditions because students have unequal access to support and resources. Third, it provides diminishing returns on learning, meaning more homework does not necessarily produce better educational outcomes. The solution is clear. Replace traditional homework with guided classroom practice, project based learning, and optimal enrichment activities. Now, I ask you to take three actions. First, sign the petition demanding your school board to launch a homework free pilot program in at least one grade level. Second, talk to your teachers, classmates, and parents about replacing homework with more effective classroom learning. And finally, stop accepting homework simply because it always been done this way. Challenge outdated traditions with evidence. We no longer use outdated medical practices simply because they were once common. Education should evolve in the same way. Let us build an education system that values health, equality, and meaningful learning. Ban traditional homework not because students are lazy, but because they deserve a better way to learn. Thank you.